waterlogged.
Newly tarnished, though unfit even to craft.
Heyo, this is Stracco, and welcome to the Maidenless Wretch, a run born out of a deep sense of self-loathing and masochism, where we are going to take our level 1 character here, maidenless and not at all guided by any grace, and to try to bring him across the entirety of the lands between. This is a run that a lot of people really expected there to be more secrets to, but I found a lot of fun in just trying to plot out how you'd conquer all these different challenges without any leveling, any roundtable hold access, and just, I think it's a unique way of playing the game, although you do end up missing torrent a few times. So, this early phase here is just going to be a lot of prep for the different bosses. We are going to immediately take the teleport trap chest that's in the Dragonburnt Ruins to the east of the Church of Ella. Damn, that's a mouthful. And we're going to go to the Celia Crystal Caves. Follow the path that I showed in the video, exit, make a left, and then do this parkour puzzle here, which I did with no problems. And you'll be able to light these 3 fires and continue on your merry way. Now, the reason we go to Khalid first is because there's 3 very important items that we need to get for this run to be bearable. That is the Prosthesis Wearer Heirloom Talisman, mouthful again, the Radagon's Sword Seal, and the right half of the Dectus Medallion. So, here is Millicent's church. You get the talisman from her. If you go over here, there's a horse jump, but I don't have a horse. Luckily, I learn and I don't die again. You need to go out west, through the swamp, and then north to escape. There's a single invasion that you need to worry about, but outside of that, it's a fairly easy run.
Leave me alone!
As you can hear, I'm very calm and composed.
Naked man runs in circle in swamp, trying to avoid getting ganked by waifu. Why is she so fast? Fuck off!
Ooh. Nothing else to see. Nothing at all. Ignore the lots of nothing on the screen. Right behind this big dragon... this big nothing, is Fort Feroth. This is where we get the Sword Seal and the Dectus Medallion right.
What a thrill.
The Dectus Medallion will give us access to the Atlas Plateau without having to go through an annoying sub-area and fight a pretty rough boss. So, it's going to be right up this ladder and in this chest. And the Radagon's Sword Seal is a little bit more missable. Proceed forward past the ghosts, drop down this hole, and it is right
Oh my
here.
god, rats, murder me! Fuck you, rat. You're not killing me until I get this stupid thing. Alright, yeah, now you end my life, it's fine. Ooh, you missed your opportunity.
With that done, it's time to head back to the Church of Ella, where we are going to go into this camp here and grab this sword. There you go, that's a good look at that. I also go back down into the lake and start fighting this invader here. That's because there's a merchant down here, but his path is sealed off until you've beaten this guy. So Yora will take his sweet old time helping us out, but at the end, it's fairly easy.
Well, that was only a little bit super hard.
Ignore what I'm saying. I lie. No struggle at all. Unfortunately, we can't use the daggers we get.
I am missing the arcane
But
level.
there are ways that we can boost it up. Grab the Margit shackle from this merchant, and then
Nice.
go use this chest over here when you get the chance.
Oh no! Wait a minute. This is so fucking optimal.
As you can hear, I was extremely prepared to be teleported right near where I needed to go. This is in the Mistwoods by the Erd Tree. Acquire the tier here for your Flask of Wondrous Physique that we will get at some point in the future, and then head on south over to Fort Height, where you can find the second half of the Dectus Medallion, and this Blood Knight who drops a sexy weapon art. It lets you apply bleed to any of your weapons. As you can see, I use Stomp to easily poise through his blow. Seeing that I'm super weak, I take a quick detour to another cave that's in this lake, and I grab a few upgrade materials. They're fairly rare, so you need to be very careful what you spend it on. Luckily, a lot of the bosses early on don't require an upgraded weapon, but eventually we need something. Go back to the camp where I grabbed the sword, and you could pick up the whetstone knife. The whetstone knife allows for you to apply ashes of war at a bonfire. This lets you change out your weapon skill. This is totally an item I've never missed before. We grab the twin blade, we do an arbitrary jump, and with that, we are going to meet the lovely and completely useless Melina. This is going to be the last time that you see her throughout this whole run if I have my way. She attempts to make an accord with us, where we will very kindly tell her to fuck off, and she will proceed to disappear into nothing.
I understand. Yet I'm certain that we can reach an understanding.
We go back and we get this weapon art that we kill this knight to get the weapon art before getting the Dectus medallion. And then we grab this Ash of War in the Poison Lake. With all of this preparation done, we're finally ready to fight our first boss of the run, Margit the Fell. On the path, you can speak to this woman here. After you talk to her, she will also disappear, never to be seen again. Maybe it's just me. Continue up the path and you'll reach a boss fog. Here you can see I've got the sword seal on, and I've got 2 swords, one infused with bleed and one infused with poison. Now it's time for Margit. As you can see, despite being level 1 and not wearing any armor, I'm fairly tanky. Look out for this move where he lifts up his cane. It has very poor tracking and is one of your best opportunities to get in damage. However, if you're too far, he does a different version that is a lot more dangerous, and you can't really punish. Circling to his left can make the magic sword whiff and will leave you just the cane to worry about. Don't get caught off by his weird timings and stay on him to keep proccing the bleed, and you have him down to phase 2 in no time. But once phase 2 starts, you're in for the real fight. He gets a lot of really hard to avoid combos, as well as much harder hitting attacks such as the giant hammer swings. He'll also tend to extend his bigger hits more with the light sword, which can trade you out and is extremely frustrating to deal with. Now, if I didn't greed there and I healed instead, I probably would have won on that first attempt. But unfortunately, he manages to get me. Surely with this strategy, I easily beat him on my next attempt. Now it's time for the clean fight with Margit. As you can see, I dodged that tail wipe that had immediately chunked me last time. And the big thing that I do here is I stay on him. I'm not afraid to trade hits because I know that as long as I get those bleed procs, I'll win the long game. There you go, first bleed proc. At this point, instead of dual wielding these swords, I should have just used my R1s, but honestly, power stancing just looks cool. Also, it's better poise damage, only by a little though. There you go, as you can see, it's been only about 20 seconds and he's already down into his phase 2, half HP. We managed to avoid this big hammer move where he also swings the cane. That's a really hard hit to avoid. You can either do it by rolling to the right or rolling twice with really good timing. We're actually being aggressive enough here that we even managed to break his posture.
Wow!
Generally, you're good as long as you're tanking hits from his light sword. Pro tip that I was not aware of, the shackle doesn't work in phase 2, so unfortunately I don't get to show it off. Anyway. That move right there that you just saw where he lifts his cane up, rolls straight through that, or stand behind him. Oof. It's coming down to the wire. Still have plenty of heals, but remember, I'm never safe. But he does his absolute worst option select and lets me behind him, and with that, our first boss, Margit the Fell, is already down. This will give us access to a second talisman slot, and the ability to honor him. With that done, it's time to proceed up the path towards Stormveil Castle. Speak with this prisoner, and tell him that you're going to go through the main gate. And then walk over, just kind of stand in front of it, and he'll tell them to open it up. But actually, we've completely gaslit him, and we're going to go through this crack in the wall real quick anyway. Proceed along the path, and right under these stairs along the left is a very important item for this run, the Hook Claws. These cause massive amounts of bleed, and on top of that, can be further buffed with bleed resin. Then we're going to go and grab our Flask of Wondrous Physique, and take one more detour to try to fight this Commander O'Neill here. He drops the item that we need to progress Millicent's questline and get the Dexterity Talisman that I talked about earlier. This was really just done as a quick damage test. I'm swiftly convinced that I should go try this later. Anyway, back to Stormveil Castle. As you can see, there's a few items right up here. These are actually a bait. None of them are really worth taking time to grab, but if you follow this, you won't get... But if you follow this path, you won't get... But if you follow this path here, you can go right through the gate without getting hit by any of the ballistas at all. Hug this right wall here and just kind of keep running forward. This is a fairly linear route, but I'm going to just let this play out so you could see it. Past these guards up here. Ooh, almost. And now you want to hug the right wall again. What this will do is this will make it so that the ballista behind you will hit the wall instead of you. Unfortunately, right there I mistimed it and I didn't get it behind the tree in time, so I just decide I'm going to tank through the rest. This is another valid option as long as you get about that far before you do it. Regardless, once you're past that guy there, run straight and you are home free. Remember to not keep picking up the bait items, but unfortunately, I am a kleptomaniac. And even if I know for a fact that an item is rubbish, I will grab it for the 100th time on a run. That statue right there that we just passed is important for later, so note down where that was and how to get here. But if you can't, there's a grace right up here. And with that, we're going to have an epic 1v1 with this hardest enemy that FromSoft has ever designed. And after barely managing to kill it because they gave it a bleed weakness, we proceed up a little further, past this giant, where we can just rest at another site of grace to our right. Now, there's a few different ways that I considered making Godrick easier. First of all, we can grab some upgrade materials from this statue that I talked about. This will give you 5 Smithing Stone 1s and a Smithing Stone 2. Then we can walk up here, make a left, and we can grab 3 more Smithing Stones just off of this guy here. Easy, no problem at all. Just get them right away. So I decide that it's time to fight Godrick without doing any more prep, because upgrading weapons is just such a hassle. And my other option is beating Commander O'Neill, and I don't want to cheese him out. Now, in my opinion, Godrick is a much, much easier fight than Margit. He's got much more standard moves, he's a lot less likely to trade you out, and even his bigger attacks don't really hit that hard except for this one where he smashes the ground. The biggest thing you need to watch out for is this move where he kicks up the wind, and that's because the first hit of it comes out fast enough that if you're taking a swing as he's starting it up, you're probably going to get clipped. Aside from that, general strategy is the same. We're going to apply poison to him, and then bleed him as much as we can. I have a fairly poor first fight, ending in getting one shot by his big jump attack, but a bit later on, I've switched over to the claws instead of trying to use the bleed sword because it's just more effective, and I'm putting the blood rose that I got at Fort Height to good use. As you can see here, I managed to bleed him twice in probably like 10 seconds. Phase 2 starts, and normally this is the perfect time to poison him, but switching off these claws will get rid of the buff, so I don't want to do that. Now things are super close, and it's getting to the final bit of his health bar. He doesn't change significantly from Phase 1 to Phase 2, so fighting him should be familiar ground. Unfortunately, right when I'm about to proc his final bleed, he manages to get the one shot off me, and that is the first of many.
Get ready to rock.
And with that, we've killed Godrick, the first of our demigods. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope that you'll join me next time as we take on, not Rennala, but Star Scourge Radahn.